let's go ahead and get things underway with the opening statement from Director Spigg.
I want to thank PLG. I want to thank the Kentucky Standard and all the other sponsors for allowing us to have this opportunity. I am Dorcas Spigg, a lifelong resident of Nelson County, presently the Nelson County Jail. I'm a Democratic candidate seeking re-election for jail. I worked at the jail 7 years as a deputy, 21 years as a major, and this is my 4th term as jail. I'm experienced and dedicated to Nelson County Jail and the people of Nelson County. I also drove a school bus for 28 years during the time that I was a deputy. I'm the oldest of 9 children of Charlotte and the late Joe Figg Sr. I attended St. Joseph Parish School for 8 years, Bethlehem for a year, and graduated from Bloomfield High School. I am a Kentucky Colonel and a member of the Kentucky Jailers Association and the FOP. I was 19 years old when I started working at the jail. Today, the requirements are the same as it is for a jailer. You have to be 21 and no felony convictions. On my new deputies that I hired, since the standards took over, I have to do a background check. So all deputies do have background checks. We opened the jail in February of '87 with 26 beds. We added 60 beds in May of 1991. In 2005, the Kentucky jail standards reduced the square footage per inmate. So that allowed us to add 16 more beds, giving us a total of 102. Of course, I lived at the old jail for 14 years, so I was used to that. Accomplishments that we have made, we've created a smoke-free jail. I work constantly with DOC, with the training of the deputies, and I have worked with the training of some of the newer jailers that come in. We've updated our control panel. This is through a JAG grant. It's the control panel we had when we started that. We just recently updated our camera system for the 2nd time. We were able to get 41 cameras already completed. We've got 5 more to be installed on an IT grant that cost the county nothing. Training, my deputies they have 24 hours training a year. The jailer has to have 40 hours. The deputies training is done online, but it's a criteria that is created by the Department of Corrections, which is the same thing that they get in the bigger jails. Same trainings for the same, for the deputies every year. I've had training in suicide prevention, all aspects of running the jail, what goes on.
They're peeping you off.
I know.
Okay, Dorcas Spigg, her opening statement, and now to John Self.
Hello, thank you for having us, PLG 13 in Wilson Bureau Bank in the city of Barstow. My name is John Snell. Most people know me as Buck. I'm the 10th child of 12 children of the late Van and Lily Snell. I was born and raised in Samuels, Kentucky. My dad worked for Mago Construction. My mother worked for Jim Beams. I have 3 children, 2 daughters and 1 son. My daughters are Kirsten and Allison. My son is Eli, and I have a beautiful granddaughter, Riley. I started my career at the Nelson County Jail in 1988 under the former jailer Austin Welder, and Dorcas was my boss. I worked there until 1991, and I was hired by the Bardstown Police Department, where I went to the police academy in Richmond, Kentucky, and in 2014 I retired from the Bardstown City Police and stayed out 90 days and went to work at the Nelson County Sheriff's Department as a transport officer. And, I transport prisoners all over the county back into Nelson County, or take them out of the county jail to the other counties. That's about all I got. Thank you.
All right. Opening statement from John Snell. And finally, we go to Michael Johnson.
Hello, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm one from Nelson County Jailer. I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. met my wife, Susan Bach, Susan Johnson. We got married in 2009, moved here to Bardstown. I had 2 twin boys that went to Nelson County High School, Samuel and Emmanuel Alfred. I also have a daughter that's at UK. I also have a nephew that we have custody of, Tavon Johnson, that went to Bardstown. With my extended family, I'm very happy and been pleased living here. I went to the Marines at the age of 17 after I graduated out of high school, served for 6 years. From there I came home. I worked at the Roto Correctional Facility where I was a sergeant. We had a boot camp program which I was in charge of. Also had 2 units called MUA, which was the inmates that worked outside the fence doing the farming. Also, as a second job, I worked at Dismiss Charities, which was a halfway house in Louisville, with inmates that was residing from the prison coming into the community and transitioning. I sit there. I love the community that I have here. I appreciate football, baseball, softball. That's about it.
Okay. All right, well, our panel, as other debates lined out, Forrest Berkshire, the editor of the Kentucky Standard, and Randy Patrick, one of the reporters who covers things like the jail for the Standard and other topics as well. So they'll be alternating questions, and they'll also give us the order that we are expecting answers from, because Dorcas will be some, I'm sure, that will be specific to you, but as an incumbent, but the other questions probably will be of a more general nature. So let's go to Phyllis.
And for this question, I'll have Michael Johnson answer first, and then we'll just work down the road there. And thank you all for giving us some of your background, your training, and everything like that. But what I'd like to ask you is, why do you want to serve as Nelson County Jailer? Why are you running for the office? And once again, Mr. Johnson.
Well, my core, like I said, new face, new ideas. Like I said, I enjoyed when I worked in corrections, and I wanted to come back when this opportunity was available and get back into the jail system and back into corrections. The reason I want to serve the Lord, I believe in helping people. I believe individuals, they make mistakes, and with proper education and training, that you can possibly sit there and turn the path around to make them a productive citizen. Also, I just think there's time for a change. I understand our company, she's done a great job years that she's been there, but I think that we need some new blood. I think I'm the right person for the job.
Okay, Dorcas, why do you want to stay in jail?
Well, I thought about it, and I wasn't ready to give it up. This has been my life all these years. I'm single, don't have any kids. I'm on call 24/7. I put in 60 plus hours a week. After I get off during the day, I go back in and stay to all hours of the night. With some of the problems we've had at the jail, there was 3 nights that I sat in my truck hid to where nobody could see me in 13-degree weather. It's something that I enjoy doing. I meet people out on the street that has been in the jail. They thank you for helping them, and it gives you a warm feeling to know you've helped at least one person. I mean, you have to be compassionate with them, but yet you have to be stern. I just enjoy what I do, and I wasn't ready to give it up if I don't have to.
John?
Yes, well, like I said earlier, I started out working at the jail, and I'm going to continue to work. I have younger children, and it's something I kicked around for several years, and I decided to do it, so I'll run, and I'm like Dorcas, I'm not ready to give it up. Work forever if I can.
Okay, so we'll switch over to Randy Patrick with another round of questions.
All right, and Buck, if you'll start with this one, and we'll work our way in that direction to Mr. Johnson. Do you feel that the jail has adequate security, and could it be improved, and how?
I say, yes, they had adequate security. I said, most of their deputies are great people. They do a good job. I think there could be more security. I think the whole jail itself needs to be fenced in. Even the areas that, any window that is next to a cell, I think it needs to be fenced in, just like you had the other part fenced in.
Okay, Dorcas, and I would expect you to defend what you've got, for sure, but if you would want to elaborate on that.
I do have good deputies, and we all work together very well. We've installed the new cameras. Yes, we got the new fence out front, but when they opened that jail, that part of the jail in 91, that fence wasn't put there. To the other side on the front, there should be a fence there. Any cell that goes into the outside should be fenced in. Any cell that faces the outside. I mean, it's you know, it just makes people think that, hey, I can do this and get away with it, and they almost did. So the whole area should be fenced in, and I think our security is really improved.
Okay, Michael.
Well, I kind of beg to differ, like with the several incidents that happened at the jail. I think the security needs to be looked at, or should have been looked at more advanced. When the building was built, a fence should have been put up around the building to keep inmates in and keep people out. Also, with the staff, with the cameras, I understand just being installed, that should have been something, been one of the first things that have been implemented, because you want to have constant watch of the inmates. Also, staff with the training, being the observation, monitoring, you know, I'm a firm believer in doing counts, because inmates, all they have to do is time to sit there and think about ways to sit there and get over on the system. You as a jailer, deputies, have to make sure you prevent that. So you have to stay one step ahead of them on that.
Okay, Dorcas, 1 minute.
On the cameras, when they first opened the jail, we had 7 cameras. 10 years ago, we got a JAG grant to add, I think it was 32 cameras. And just recently, I was able to get the grant to add, it'll be 45 cameras by the time it's over. So we had to do it in stages. I mean, that's the way they built the jail. I mean, so we've dealt with it. We've had the cameras, and they were really working well.
Okay, let's go to another question, and reports.
And Dorcas, you'll answer this first, and then I'll go to Michael, and then to Bob. There have been several reports of inmates damaging county property, including breaking out of a cell and stealing tools in one instance, and knocking holes through a wall in another. Are inmates under the proper amount of control and supervision inside the facility?
No, they're not under the proper amount. These people have 24/7 just to think of stuff to do. My deputies were made aware of it, you know, what was going on. We immediately, like the ones that was put the hole in the front of the jail, the cameras don't shine in behind the beds, you know, toward the walls. So listening to phone conversations, we were able to determine who was involved in it. So we moved them on the back side of the jail that is in a fenced-in area. It stopped the problem. I mean, they're going to a parking lot right there, back there. And like I said, my deputies are aware, and Buck will tell you as well as I do, there's days they get really busy. But the control room deputy is responsible for watching the cameras on 2 shifts. During the day, they're dealing with visitors, bonds, so, you know, that kind of stops them some too. Also, if I'm not there with this new system, I have an app on my phone. And my deputies will tell you, I'm always watching. I mean, if I can't sleep at night, I'm watching. And I know our jail inspector just recently told me, and in front of his boss, says we need to take our camera away from you, because they knew what I was going to do. Or I need to take my phone away. I mean, I care about what goes on there. With the overcrowding, that is a big problem now. You know, we don't have the room to put them in separate cells. And the other part of your question was what? It was all about the property they tear up. If we find out who has torn it up, they pay for it. If they break a TV, that cell doesn't get a TV until that one's paid for. If they tear up linen, then they pay for the linen. So anytime that we can get a payment out of them, and with our new booking system, it automatically takes it off the canteen when you come in.
Okay, let's switch over to John Stone.
You want to phrase the question again?
You want to rephrase?
Oh, it goes to Michael, and then it'll go to
Oh, I'm
Mark.
sorry, I got out of sequence there.
I
Yeah, Michael.
will ask again for everybody.
Sure.
It's about, there have been several reports of inmates damaging county property, including breaking out of a cell and stealing tools in one instance, and knocking holes through a wall in another. All right, and do you believe that inmates are under the proper amount of control and supervision inside the facility?
So we'll go to Michael for that.
Okay. To answer your question, are inmates under proper control in the facility? I have to sit there and state, I don't think so. For an inmate to sit there and have time to break out of one cell into another cell, and no one notices that is a security risk. You know, you have deputies watching the cameras, then they should have seen the inmate in the process of breaking out of cell. The deputies are doing the walkthroughs on a regular and inspecting the cells, the living quarters of the inmates, then you would notice if something was out of the ordinary. You know, I understand, Company Dover stated that they heard the conversation on the phone, which that is great, because we have you monitoring that. But there's nothing like doing an inspection hourly. I mean, when I worked at the prison system, that was our job. Every hour we did a count. Every hour we walked through to sit there and inspect the living quarters. We had a perimeter outside inspecting to making sure that nothing was getting in, nothing was getting out, if there was any damages. I think that would be addressed.
Okay, before, well, let's see, Dorcas, you wanted some rebuttal time, but before we give you that extra minute, let's go to John. And your take on
All right.
jail security.
I think problems like that, a lot of it is the jail's understaffed. It's like when I worked there, 2 deputies were fine working a shift, or maybe 3, but they've got, like I say, it's 5 times the inmates now there was before. And I mean, you got 1 person in the control room and 2 working the floor. That's not very many people. You've got over 140, 50 people in there. And the problem's going to just increase more and more because the drugs and everything, the staffing, there's a lot of them. You have some good staff, there's not enough of them. And I think that's where more cell checks, because you don't have enough staff, you can't do a cell check to check if there's any contraband or tearing themselves.
Okay, Dorcas, you did want an extra minute.
Okay, in reply to his, Kentucky jail standards say that we have to do hourly checks on the inmates at random. There is a deputy, as a matter of fact, in our secure area. We have 1 standing at the main door. We have 1 that walks into the cells and checks the cells. Every half hour, we do parameter checks, which the deputy goes outside and walks around. And this is all night long. And with Bucks, we meet the Kentucky jail standards on how many deputies that we can have. A jail our size, they say 3 deputies on the floor, 1 in the control room.
Okay, so to Randy Patrick now, another question.
All right. And Michael, I'd like for you to answer this one first because you're the only one who hasn't worked at this jail. But are there any policies at the jail that you would like to change?
And we'll give Dorcas and Buck a shot at that as well.
I think more training for the personnel. You know, understand the state requirements. That, you know, you have so many hours that you have, you know, acquired to sit there and be trained. But training continues, education continues. You know, so there's always something curricular that can be studied, a form of investigation, form of interrogation, searches and seizures, inspections. You know, there's always something that someone can prove to help improve their job. So I think that would be something, if I was hired, that I would look into getting the deputies more training, on hands training.
And Mr. Snellen, if you could answer second, and then Dorcas, since you're the incumbent, we'll let you go last.
Policies, I think that when I worked there under Dorcas, everybody had a uniform. I like to see everybody in uniform, because the way the law enforcement comes in, they know who the deputies are. I worked in law enforcement almost 30 years. I never had a beard. I think if you're going to look professional, you need to be clean shaven. You have a mustache, but I think clean shaved deputy looks a whole lot better. But the other policies, I have nothing to know about them. They'd be something I'd have to look into.
Okay, and finally Dorcas, and if you, could get that mic up there again.
Okay, our policies are built from the Kentucky jail standards. They tell you when you have to feed them, they tell you how many calories. So we build the policy from that to fit our jail. As far as any to be changed, unless they change some of the Kentucky jail standards, then we will change it in our policy. As far as the training, we do what the Department of Corrections offer. As a matter of fact, we do have 2 tasers at the jail now. I have 3 deputies that's trained to use it, and I'm in the process of getting more. We also have been trained in first aid, CPR, and the AED. All of my deputies are trained with that. We have just, since the drug problem, we have added training for Narcan. My deputies know how to use it, and it is there at the jail. And the Department of Corrections comes up with more training. I'm ready to go with it.
All right, I guess that answers the question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, folks, and this probably should be our last question.
I think we're going to try to get 2 more.
2 more? Okay.
But if you could get straight to the point on these. My question is going to be to Buck, and then to Dorcas, and then to Michael. Does the jail provide enough educational and rehabilitation services for the inmates?
I guess they do. I couldn't tell you if they did. Back when I worked there, they could get GEDs and take a GED test, get the high school equivalency. They had AA trained people who come in on AAs. Of course, that's, like I said, the jail was smaller when I left. It was a whole lot bigger now, but I couldn't tell you what they do now. But like back then, they had GED and AA classes.
Okay. Of course, we're limited on space for the education part. The library has enough room for maybe 12 or 13 inmates to sit in there. We do have GED. We have parenting classes for males and females. We have NA for the males. We have a group of women that come in and do AA for the females. I'm working with the lady with mental health court now, trying to bring more training in there for some of these females and males. They definitely need more programs to get into. But at the time, we don't have it because we've got like 5 church groups. They come in, they work with the males and the females. We do video arraignments at the jail. We do parole hearing videos at the jail. So you're really limited on the space, especially during the day. And not a lot of people want to come in at night and donate their time. So I'm working with mental health.
Okay. Michael.
Just listening to what the company stated about the training and education that's coming in, that was space-wise, I can see that being an issue, having it. But also, I guess you need to be able to sit there and have other options to give to the inmates, like would be work skills. I know some of the people that I talk to in the community, with jobs being the way they are, working a way to sit there and hopefully take an inmate and give him a skill that he doesn't have, that when he gets out, that he can utilize to sit there and be a better citizen. That would be something I would think would be addressed, just as, like I said, getting a GED, you have a substance abuse problem, getting the right class for that to take care of that. So that would be something that would, like I I said, that was be a continuous process.
All right. And Randy, this, I guess, will be our last go-around here.
Okay. And this is a question I hear, or a suggestion I hear a lot of people say. Is, to my knowledge, Nelson County Nelson County Jail doesn't have a work crew. Do you think Nelson County should have a program where inmates are used for public services such as roadside cleanups? And Dorcas, if you will answer that one first, and then Mr. Stanley, and then Mr. Johnson, please.
When the state first come out with the Class D inmates that were being housed in jail, at that time we had a few that would go out with a community service officer in Nelson County. The state offered us a contract to take them out, but there's a catch. Only level A's, 1s, and 2s can go outside the facility to work in the public. I don't have these inmates. Ours are level 3s and close custody 4s. You can't work them outside. I mean, I would love to have the work program, but you gotta have the space too. I know there's a county close to us that pick up trash in Nelson County. They have 49 state inmates with Class Ds in them. They're classified to go out and work.
That's LaRue, right?
Right,
Yeah.
correct. So the contract was offered to us years ago, but we didn't have the inmates at that time enough to take out. We still don't.
Okay, John?
I agree with Dorcas. You had a Class D low-level inmates, it would be a problem to have a deputy take them out, because these guys are usually in there for small crimes, and they're not going to run off, and because you run off, you tack 5 more years to your sentence. So if there was people there that meet the level, I think it'd be a good program to take people out.
And Mr. Johnson, your take on that?
I'm a firm believer in sitting there saving taxpayers' money. I understand the levels of inmates with the severity of the crime. But then again, that goes with, like as Dorothy stated, having personnel to be able to sit there and cover these inmates out, to sit there and do work outside. But it's also, I have them working inside. You know, I don't understand why, which I heard some stories that, that building can be clean, grass can be cut, they can work. I understand, you're sick and you go to the doctor, a nurse or whatever, they're friendly, but if you're able to get up in the morning after you have something to eat, then there's a project that would save, the jail money and saving taxpayer money.
Dorcas, I think you wanted to add something.
Yeah. The inmates state inmates that we do have in jail that are high levels, we can work them inside the jail, and we do. As far as putting them out to mow grass, they can't go outside the facility to work.
Okay. All right, well, that is going to bring us to our closing statements, and each of the candidates will have 3 minutes. They don't have to take the entire 3 minutes, but the minutes are there for them. This will be the reverse order of our opening statements. So that means you're up, Dr. Johnson.
As I stated earlier, if elected to this position, I believe there is time for a change. I believe there's a change that needs to be made in the jail. I understand that what you've been doing and seeing what's happening, something has to be addressed, and we're addressing. Saying that we, the people of Nelson County, are the ones that sit there and look to the jail to provide the security, also helping the inmates to be safe, want to feel safe and secure in the facility. But then also let them know that they did something that caused them to be there, so it's not a hotel. And that they need to serve their time, but be productive about that time. Like I said, if elected on May 22nd, I'm a firm believer, I'm a hands-on individual. I believe that I will be there working. I understand, Dorcas made a statement saying that it's her life, and I understand that. But then you also have a chain of command. You have deputies, I guess you have sergeants, you have a major. If I can't trust them to do the job, then they not need to be that position, I should have to be there 24/7. So on May 22nd, I ask you to come out and vote for Michael Johnson for Nelson County Jail. Thank you.
Michael Johnson's closing statement, and now to John Buck Snow.
I thank you again for having me here. If I was elected, there's things I would check into, like getting an X-ray machine. I seen one in effect 2 days ago. It was great. It was great. I was in another county, another jail. They had one. Of course, they house for 4 different counties, which they probably got a little bit more revenue. But if there's grants out there where, you know, the state or the federal grants that you get to help you purchase something like that, I think that would stop a lot of the problems at the jail. Again, back to the Class D program, if you have low risk, you know, try to get another contract with the state, take them out, you know, so they can go out and pick up garbage, weed eat, and things like that. But anything else, I would have to see what else is going on. I don't know what's going on. Like I say, I've transported in and out. I'm all over the state, picking up prisoners, bringing them back here, taking them back out. And I sure appreciate y'all having us, and I thank you, and vote for me on May 22nd.
All right, the closing statement from Mr. Snelling, and now finally to Director Smith.
My main concern is to maintain a safe and secure facility at the jail, plus the security of the people in the community. I will continue to do that. I work very close with fiscal court with a $1,990,169 budget this year. That's what it is. It's been proposed to be over $2 million next year. And we work very close with that budget. I look for, you know, to save the county money however I can, whether it be supplies, whether it be food. I do pricing. I have the experience and the leadership to work with a multitude of people. I work very close with the Department of Corrections, police officers, other jails, prisons throughout the state, inmates and their family. I am very proud to have been allowed to serve the citizens of Nelson County for 47 years. I am experienced, dedicated, and loyal. I will continue to be dedicated and loyal, and I will continue to work hard to maintain a safe and secure facility. I would like to ask for your vote and support on May 22nd, 2018.
All right, closing statement from Incumbent Director Smith. Well, that wraps up this particular debate, but not the debates, because we're going to be having at it again on Monday. And that's not going to be here at the Civic Center. It will be at the PLG Studios. We'll be shifting our attention over to the magistrate races. Magistrate District 3, Philip Bishop and Selva Vidito. Magistrate District 3, Bernard Ice and David Call. And Magistrate District number 2, that's Democrat and a Republican and Democrat. And then District 2, Sam Hutchins and the incumbent of Buren Colder. So that's coming up Monday. That starts at 6 o'clock with the final date getting underway around 7:30. So it will be a little bit of a longer evening, but it will be again at the PLG Studios. Well, our thanks to Wilson and Mueller for underwriting our coverage and making it possible. Again, special thanks to Mr. Music for their assistance, and the City of Bardstown, the cable guys, who are making all this get out into the community. Our crew this evening, in addition to Forrest and Randy, have included the behind-the-scenes people. Tonight we added Dennis George to that roster. John Fight has been overseeing the technical crew. Matt Gordon, also Scott Cederholm, our timer, Patrick Bean, and last but not least, certainly not least, our publisher, Jimmy Sizemore. So that will conclude our broadcast here this evening from the Civic Center. And this is Tom Isaac, and I'll just sign off in my usual way of saying, please have a great evening and an even better tomorrow. Good night.
Yeah, but they keep making everything those other ones that are still the trailers. That's not, I mean, that's not a good